Imagine yourself at a point of decision. On one side, the life you already know, the routine, the comfort, and the limits that are familiar to you. On the other, the life of your dreams, where everything you desire becomes reality. What is stopping you from crossing this line? The answer is simple, yet profound: an internal resistance. This resistance acts as an invisible force, keeping us stuck where we are. To change this, it's not enough just to want more out of life. It's necessary to evolve, to be more than we are in the moment. And this requires that we face this silent obstacle. How many times have you started something with great enthusiasm, only to lose your drive soon after? You find yourself stuck, knowing what needs to be done, but lacking the energy to act. The worst part is that the lack of progress leads to frustration, and frustration leads to paralysis. The problem is that we often try to solve this the wrong way. We look for more motivation when, in reality, we need to understand this invisible force that keeps us from taking action. This resistance is a psychological barrier that keeps us in our comfort zone. It shows up in subtle ways. You buy books, but don't read them. You pay for the gym, but don't go. Every time you avoid a challenge, you reinforce this barrier. This resistance doesn't want you to fail, but it also doesn't want you to grow. That's why it's so dangerous. Resistance is a defense mechanism of the mind against what's new. But here's some good news. If it was created by us, we can also overcome it. The solution is not to eliminate it all at once, but to face it day by day. Imagine yourself in front of a stronger, more disciplined and successful version of yourself. This is your future self, the one who has already achieved what today seems distant. But between you and this version stands an obstacle: your current self. This self is afraid of change and creates resistance every time you try to evolve. The key is to realize that this current self is not your enemy, but a starting point for transformation. Overcoming this internal battle requires seeing each decision as a step toward the future you desire. Small daily progress adds up strength, and gradually, your current self gives way to your future self shining through. Steven Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, teaches that there is a fundamental difference between amateurs and professionals. While amateurs wait for motivation to act, professionals know that resistance never disappears, and so they act even in the face of fear or lack of will. The secret is not in eliminating this resistance, but in committing to act despite it. If you want to transform your reality, you need to stop seeing yourself as an amateur and start viewing yourself as a true professional in your own growth process. Professionals show up every day, regardless of the difficulties. This is what creates true change. To face resistance, there are two options. One requires immediate effort and leads to growth, while the other offers instant pleasure, but comes at a price in the future: regret. Which one will you choose? Suffer a little now and reap the rewards later, or avoid discomfort and deal with frustration in the future? Resistance never disappears completely, but it can be faced every day. The more you practice discipline, the more it becomes a habit. The choice is in your hands. Live according to your goals or settle for the regret of never having tried. Imagine you only go to the gym when you feel like it. What are the chances of building a strong body? None. The same applies to life. Without consistency, there is no progress. Creating the habit of acting daily, regardless of motivation, is the key to overcoming resistance. Just like a muscle, discipline strengthens through repetition. If you train your mind to act every day, regardless of mood or excuses, it will become natural over time. Now imagine a high-level athlete. He trains to the limit, feels the pain of effort, but knows that this pain is an essential part of growth. In personal development, pain also plays an important role. Whether it's overcoming procrastination, facing a challenge, or stepping out of your comfort zone, there is always an initial discomfort. But this pain is not a signal to quit. It is, in fact, an indication that you are evolving. The more you deal with this pain, the stronger and more resilient you become. Do you remember when you first drank coffee and found it bitter? Over time, you got used to it and maybe even started to like it. The same happens with effort. Initially, facing challenges may seem unbearable, but with practice, your brain adapts. You begin to see the pain not as suffering, but as part of the process. It's at this moment that true transformation occurs. Each day you face resistance, your identity transforms. You become more confident, disciplined, and resilient. Small daily acts of overcoming accumulate and impact every area of your life. The resistance, which once seemed like an insurmountable obstacle, becomes just another step toward your growth. Resistance will never disappear, but those who move forward despite it are the ones who truly evolve. Those who wait for motivation remain stuck. Transform resistance into your ally. Use it as a sign that you are on the right path. Now the choice is yours. Act despite the resistance, or stay trapped in it. What will you do today to surpass this limit?